Hello, everyone. It's fantastic to see that so many have joined our information session today, and we really, really appreciate the level of interest from so many organisations and institutions from across Vietnam and the UK, and our UK-Vietnam season, which we're all so excited about. I appreciate that some of you had also joined the briefing session for the first round of grants, and I think some have also been part of recent scoping visits to both Vietnam and the UK. So maybe are already pretty familiar with much of the information which we're sharing with you today. But first of all, just to say a little bit about British Council seasons in general. They're all about providing high-profile platforms where we can celebrate and support greater international cultural and education collaboration. Globally, we usually have 1 or 2 seasons every year, and currently the India-UK and the UK-Ukraine seasons are underway. And our seasons are very much a springboard to new opportunities, which we hope will lead to new partnerships, which in turn strengthen the connections and build closer relations between people, organisations and institutions in both countries. The seasons are usually linked to a significant external event or landmark, anniversary, and our UK-Vietnam season marks both the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the UK and Vietnam and the 30th anniversary of the British Council's presence in Vietnam. So it provides a wonderful opportunity to celebrate these hugely important milestones in the history and relations of both countries. And in doing so, it elevates the wider bilateral cultural relationship and provides new opportunities for a whole host of UK and Vietnamese individuals and organisations to work together. And our UK-Vietnam season embraces our 3 main areas of work: arts and culture, education, and English language. And these are sectors which are hugely important for both countries, and also all of them are priority areas for the British Council in Vietnam. The first round of grants focused on all 3 sectors, and this second round of grants focuses only on arts and culture. The season is very much British Council owned. However, like everything, we work in partnership. We cannot do anything alone. So we'll be working with the UK Embassy in Vietnam, the Vietnamese Embassy in the UK, the Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Sport, the Ministry of Education and Training, and partners across culture, education and non-formal education and the private sectors as well in both Vietnam and the UK. And our season will run from June till December this year, and we would expect that most of the project activities that are funded by our grant calls will take place in Vietnam. That said, we expect too that there will be some UK-based activities. There'll be a mix of public-facing activities and activities that may not be for the wider public, perhaps for more a targeted audience. The season is also countrywide in both Vietnam and the UK, and we very much want to ensure that the diversity of both countries is represented. We have 2 themes for our season, which resonate in both countries: climate and the environment and shared heritage. And we believe that both should hopefully interest many organisations across all our 3 sectors. Given the global climate emergency and the impact on both Vietnam and the UK, there's an increased and diverse focus on how we engage in climate and the environment, and that's so important in order to strengthen knowledge and raise awareness, ultimately contributing to effective actions. And shared heritage, it speaks to both countries, and whilst having a rich relationship built on trade and diplomacy, the UK and Vietnam are different culturally, historically and traditionally. But at the same time, across all of this, whether through tangible or intangible cultural heritage, there are opportunities of common understanding and learning, and opportunities to create contemporary dialogues and new narratives as well. Now, we don't wish to prescribe how applicants should respond to the grant calls in terms of the contents of the projects, but we do see that these themes are sufficiently wide-ranging for submissions from partners across all our sectors. And as with many themes, it's about how we choose to interpret them. We'd also welcome cross-sector projects. So whilst this call is focused on arts and culture, arts and creativity, for those who are interested, there may be an opportunity to think about education in English, should you so wish. It's important to be mindful too that innovation, as well as equality, diversity and inclusion, are cross-cutting themes and should be incorporated into all of your responses. I do want to stress that it is as important for the British Council to attract organisations from the UK who may not have worked with us before in Vietnam, or organisations in Vietnam who haven't previously partnered with the UK, as it is to build on existing or previous projects or relationships with organisations. This is central in celebrating UK-Vietnam collaboration and creativity across all our areas of work. We have been brokering relationships and nurturing many UK-Vietnam partnerships across the arts, creative industries, education and English for 30 years now. And the UK-Vietnam season is about supporting collaboration and cooperation for the future and encouraging greater mutual understanding, trust and shared growth. So I really do hope that this session and the follow-up FAQs will provide the clarification you need, and we very much look forward to receiving your submissions as part of this second round of grants. So at this point, I'll hand back to Tao, and thanks very much again to all of you for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Donna. Thanks for that introduction and a very thorough overview of what we are looking for in applications, proposals to join us celebrating the UK-Vietnam season this year. I will now give you an overview of the open call that we launched. So all of these details have been published. And we will go through them together now. And while doing so, I will highlight some of the important information or important details that I think that if you're interested in applying for the collaboration grants, this round 2, the second round, is very important to know. There are a lot of information that have been published, and I think that sometimes it's very easy to miss information. So this is an opportunity for us to go through all the important information before we move to the Q&A. So first of all, about available funding, I think most of you who are interested in applying are aware that we have 3 different grant sizes. So we have up to 10,000, we have up to 30,000 and up to 50,000 grant. Now, we have received questions from people who have been awarded with grant funding from the first round of the season, and asking, whether the amount that they received already will be counted towards this round. And I just wanted to highlight that this round is a separate round from round 1, and so these are the maximum amount that you can apply for this round, independent from the first round. Who can apply? So as Donna mentioned, we are really looking for UK-Vietnamese partnerships. So the application should be developed and submitted by at least 1 UK organization and at least 1 Vietnamese organization. And that means that, you can have other collaborators in, and you can indicate that in your application, but at least 1 organization based in the UK and 1 in Vietnam. Either the UK or the Vietnamese organization can apply as lead partner. And if you've gone through already through the application unsubmittable, you will know that the contract would be, if selected for a grant award, the contract would be signed with the lead partner. So that's something for you to think about when preparing the application as well. As Donna also mentioned, we encourage arts and cultural and creative organizations to apply for this collaboration grants, and that includes higher education institutions and also research organizations, as long as your focus is on arts and culture and the project ideas about arts and culture and creativity. Moving on to project types. So these are the broad description of the kind of projects that we're looking for. So of course, the project proposals will need to show how they fit within the two main themes of season, which are shared heritage and climate and the environment, or both. So there are space in the application for you to demonstrate that your project ideas support either or both of these themes. We're looking for a project across art forms, so theatre and dance, circus, music, film, exhibition, visual art, photography, a lot of different art forms, or a combination of all art forms as well, also are encouraged. We're looking for a project with themes relevant to the creative economy. We're looking for a project that proposing festivals or arts in the public realm, so public installation, street art, etc., etc. So quite a wide range of types of project that you can develop to apply for season funding. We're looking for activities within these projects. We're looking for activities that take really diverse forms of either professional development, network building, showcasing, public event, etc. So these activities can either be face-to-face or can be delivered through digital forms, or a creative combination of both. As we all know, after the COVID pandemic, many of us are very used to working on both, face-to-face and digital platforms and combining the two. We are looking for a project that address cross-cutting themes of gender, equality, diversity, inclusion, access, and innovation. And a quick note here for you, if you would like to research on the British Council policies on equality, diversity, and inclusion, or safeguarding, they are available online, and we touch on that a little bit later on. And as mentioned earlier, we're looking for public-facing events, so concert, film screening, exhibition, etc., to take place in Vietnam between June and December 2023 this year. Costs. So we do understand that applicants are very interested in knowing, the costs that should be included in the application form. So as a rule of thumb, all of the costs to cover the project directly cover the project expenses, such as artist fee or travel expenses or exhibition expenses, all costs related to communication and promotion. Sometimes you don't think about it, but if you have costs, and I'm sure you will have costs, please just put it in the budget plan, all the materials you need, all the equipment you need, and tool, etc. All of the costs relevant to making the project happen should be included in the budget plan. There are costs that are not considered eligible, such as general running costs. So, for example, your project is taking place between June and December, but you include the whole year long electricity costs to run the whole office that take care of many different projects. So those are not eligible for funding, or for the season funding for your project, or funding or expenses that are incurred before, it has been paid for, not relevant to the project that you're proposing, that should not be included in the budget plan. We encourage you to put all the applicable taxes and bank fees. So we understand that your project is proposed and will be delivered by at least one UK and at least one Vietnamese partner. So taxes will occur, bank fees will occur, and so please have a think about those costs and include them into the budget plan when you're applying. After applying, and if your project is selected, it will be very tricky to include costs that you didn't plan. So if you have started your application, you would know that the budget plan template has been provided, and you will be required to fill out this budget plan template and upload it on Submittable with your application. And as I mentioned earlier, if you are selected for a grant award, we will offer to sign the grant contract with the lead partner, and there's space in the application form where you specify who's the lead partner. Selection criteria, a lot of questions that we received is around how your application will be assessed and how your application will be assessed against. So these are the criteria that will be used by a panel of experts who will be assessing your application. So the 3 areas that we'll be focusing on are aim, thematic, and viability. So it's very important to think about and to articulate how your project proposal support the aim of the season. So it would be very important to think about, how it would help to develop, to support the UK and Vietnam bilateral relationship. And there are more details about this that has been published on the open course. So I do encourage you to look through and really articulate how your project proposal support this aim. The project, is it high quality, and is everything achievable? There are different questions in the application form that would help you articulate how your project is of high quality and how the output, the results of your project are achievable. So please do pay attention to this, because this area accounts for 40% of the scoring, of the overall scoring of your project proposal. So similarly, I won't go through this. This has been published, and I just wanted to highlight these areas are very, very important. So think about partnership, contribution, and legacy of your project. Again, there are different questions in the application form that give you space to explain all of these. Innovation, equality, diversity, inclusion, sustainability, safeguarding, and particularly monitoring and evaluation. All of these account for 30% of the selection criteria. So the evaluators, assessors of your application will be assessing your application based on all of these. So very important when you prepare your application to always go back and see how your application really articulate the ideas that address these criteria. Regarding the timeline, we launched this round on the 14th of December. Today we are doing the information session, and the call will close on the 5th of February. So please note this deadline. Don't miss it. If you spend a lot of time preparing the application, it'd be a shame to miss the deadline. The system will shut right at 11:59 UK time, and so please do pay attention to that. And I can't stress this strongly enough. Please don't wait until the last minute to submit your application, because if the system is overloaded, which we hope won't happen, but just in case any unwanted technical issue, please try to submit before the deadline. The successful projects will be notified by the 28th of February. We hope to sign all the contract with all of the successful projects in April. And as we mentioned, public-facing activities for projects should be between June and December this year. How to apply via the Submittable application platform. So I think many of you who are interested in applying would know how to log on to Submittable, how to sign, and how to register for an account, and how to submit the application. If you have any technical issue, please contact the technical help support of the Submittable, and they can provide quite prompt support to you. And please note that we cannot accept any email applications. So if you send an offline application to us by email, that will not be reviewed and evaluated. A few tips for you to put together your application. I'm aware that we're a couple of minutes past 20 minutes presentation, so please bear with me for a couple more minutes. So here are just some points to help you put together your application. Obviously, the most important thing for this this open call, this collaboration grant, is for UK and Vietnamese organization to find your counterparts and to collaborate on developing your proposal. That's very, very important. As you know, we're looking to fund UK Vietnamese partnerships through this collaboration grants. It's important to research on all the available resources, also to look for potential collaborators, people who might be able to collaborate and help you to make things happen. It's important for people, for projects who are looking to have public-facing events, which we hope most of you. It's important to look for venues and to think about where your public-facing events might take place. It's important to understand the British Council safeguarding and EDI policies as well. So we will send you the link. We will send you the link to these policies. Hopefully Nga or Ha, my colleagues, can pop the link into the chat box so you have access to it. But we will also send you this slide after, so you have so you can assess the links. Please do study the core details, the application form guidance, the budget plan templates ahead of time to fully understand what you need to include. There are quite a lot of details, but the application form guidance and the application form itself on Submittable will guide you through the process quite efficiently. Do start your application as soon as possible. Please note that on Submittable, if you don't know that already, it allows you to work on the draft and then save it and then come back to it later. So start as soon as possible would be our advice. Please do provide all the information you think best support the assessment of your application. Look through the selection criteria, make sure that your application, the information you provide would help the assessment against these criteria. So it's important to know these selection criteria. And yes, again, please do not wait until last minute to submit your application. One last thing, we have on our website, and I will ask Nga or Ha, my colleagues, to put the frequently asked questions link on the British Council website onto the chat. There have been a lot of questions sent to us, and we've addressed these questions. So some of these questions might be useful for you. So please have a look if that would help you to prepare your application. So that's it from me for all of the technical information of how to put together your application. And we can now move on to the question and answer section. I will look through the questions in the chat, and my colleague would help to channel your questions to me. But if you have a question and you haven't put in the chat, you can also raise your hand and we will come to you for the question, and you can just say your question. If everyone's okay with it, I'm going to move to the first question. Can the project run later than December 2023 if all public-facing activities are completed to give time for monitoring and evaluation after the events? We do understand, as we mentioned, we're looking for public-facing event to take place between June and December, but we do understand the process of delivering a project and doing monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation can be done after December 2023. We're looking to give about a month, so January 2024, for you to prepare to do your monitoring and evaluation and prepare a final report and send to us after you have delivered all of your public-facing events. If you deliver your public-facing events that end, say, for example, in September, and you do your monitoring evaluation and and you do your evaluation in October, you can send us the final report with all the monitoring and evaluation details in October or November. That would be up to you. So I hope that answered your question. I think that's a question by Debbie Cotton. The next question, if the UK organization is the lead and has financial control, some money will be artist fees for Vietnamese artists. Do we have to factor in the local taxes for these? How is that done, or is it the responsibility of the Vietnamese artists? In general, Vietnamese artists or individuals or organizations should be aware of the tax that they are obliged to pay to the government. For example, as an individual artist, all in Vietnam, we're subject to pay PAT, so personal income tax. So that's usually that 10% if you pay if you need to pay PAT. And organizations, the different taxes like VAT, that organizations or institutions will need to pay. Or within education sector, some institutions do not have to pay VAT. So it's very much it's very much the artists or the individuals or the organizations, they need to know what tax that they're subjected to inform you when you sign a contract with them. So as the proposal development is a collaborative process, so we hope that you can work out these details with your partner, with your Vietnamese partner, between Vietnamese and UK partners, and include all the applicable taxes in the budget template, in the budget plan. So I hope that answers your question. The next question, does the project have to be taken place in Vietnam, or can be both in Vietnam and the UK? We quickly mentioned this before. We're looking for events, public facing event to take place in Vietnam between June and December 2023 this year. But we do understand that some of the collaboration wish to have showcases in the UK, and that is acceptable as well. We're not saying that you cannot have events in the UK. In fact, we hope there will be some event taking place in the UK as well. So the answer to this is yes. But please do note that we're really looking for public facing events in Vietnam between June and December. So I hope that answered that question as well. I can see that there are quite a few questions on the chat. We will try to go through everything today. I think we have about 30 minutes, so we can go through most things today. Otherwise, we will, if there's any questions that you have and put in the chat or ask during the session that we can't answer, we will get back to you after the session. So just so you know, so please do keep the questions coming. The next question we have here, may I ask if I can also invite sponsors for this application, for example, flight sponsorship, venue and media relation? Yes, you can, and this has been specified on the open call as well. You will also see that in the budget plan template, you are asked to specify if there's any other contribution. So you'll be asked to specify what's the total amount of grants you're requesting from the British Council. And then you'll be asked what the other sources of like sponsorship, other sources of income you might have. It could be own contribution, or it could be from other sponsors or funders. And you'll be asked to specify whether that financial support is confirmed or pending. So that information will be very clear in the application form as part of the budget plan. I hope that answers your question. The next question here, if we were unsuccessful in round 1, is it worth applying again? That is entirely up to you. Personally, I think yes, if you have a brilliant project idea, and you are not selected in the first round, it could be that we have an overwhelming amount of applications. There are a lot of good applications, but because of our limited resource, we can only fund certain number of projects. So definitely it's worth it to apply again if you think that you have a really great project idea, you have a really good and well-developed application, please do apply. Definitely encouraged to. Okay. I have one question here. Can the project be a media communication campaign and a TV series, TV show? It's a challenging question. It's a little bit hard for me to get back to you when in general, any project that focus on arts and creative economy, creative industries, um, uh, we encourage you to apply, but it's hard to say if it's communication campaign, but communication campaign for what? A TV series, a TV show, digital and face-to-face are both encouraged. And so, yes, TV series, TV show, but please keep in mind that there are other selection criteria and other requirements for a project. So please study the information carefully and formulate your project, plan your project in ways that that you think would score high, basically, when when it's sent to the selection panel. So I think that's probably all I can say about this question. The next question I have here. Our UK partner is responsible for the rights of the books and all the images that would be used in the exhibition. The team to run this project are our staff in Vietnam. So the UK partner plays only the part of rights holder. In this case, is it necessary to submit the profile of the UK crew?
From Vietnam. Don't need anything cool for me.
Hi, I think someone's speaking. I don't know if that's the person who asked this question and would like to clarify it. You're welcome to unmute and ask the question. Yes, please. Crabbit Kit Books. Yes, please.
Yes. Hi everyone. Hi Thao. Yeah, our concern is that because our UK partner is the rights holder in this project, and we intend to make like exhibition in Vietnam for a kind of heritage. Based on our content of the books, we have the rights here. So I just want to know whether the UK partner, is just what they can do for us is just they allow us to use their content to make the exhibition only. And if I require them for any other support from them, it may not that both UK partner and us are working together. The main thing will be our here in Hanoi doing everything for the exhibition. So we concern that because I see that in the application we need to submit the UK profile, the CVs, and other action between us to launch the project. So I want to ask that whether it's necessary. Is it possible that we are here when in charge of all the projects, and the UK partner is just supporting us for everything regarding the rights, regarding the contents?
Okay, I think I understand your question now. Thank you. First of all, please note that we are really looking for collaborative project, project that's collaboration between UK partner and Vietnamese partners, at least one in each country. And that collaboration, and it means that the project proposal should be collaboratively developed and collaboratively delivered by the two partners. So please do note that that's what we are looking for. In terms of, the submitting the profile of the UK crew, if you think that, and I'm guessing that you're referring to the requirement of the application that, you should include the CVs or resumes of the organization of the partners. So if you think that the CVs or the profiles or the resumes will support the assessment of your application in terms of, whether it's high quality content that you're featuring, whether it's experienced partners that will be able to support or contribute to the delivery of the project, anything you think that support the strength of your application, please put it in. So everything, because we won't be talking to you, we won't be looking at your the work that we don't know about you. The selection panels, panelists, they don't know about you. All they see is what you submit on the application form. So any information that you think useful to support the success of your application, please include.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, I see your point totally. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the next question. Quick clarification, June, December or September, December for the activities. Okay, public-facing events that would help us celebrate season between June and December. Now, this doesn't mean that if you looked at the timeline, this doesn't mean that you wait until June to start your project. No, if your project is selected for grant funding, we hope to sign the contract by April. So basically, your project or activities which are preparatory can take place as soon as the contract is signed, which is in April. But public-facing events should be between June and December. I don't know where the September is from. I probably have given an example of something in September before, so sorry about that. So public-facing event, June to December. I hope that is clear. Okay, the next question, how do we connect with potential partners in Vietnam who are interested in collaborations in the film, music, and media arts area? I think there are a lot of different ways to connect with potential partners. It will require, if you haven't had a partner based in, if you are based in the UK and you do not at the moment have a partner based in Vietnam, it will require a little bit of research. And from our part at the British Council, we have always been playing the role of connecting and connecting UK-based organizations and Vietnam-based organization. We've been brokering relationship in preparation for this call. Specifically, we run 2 connection sessions. Perhaps you have not had a chance to join those sessions, but it will take a little bit of research, I think, and making connection. What you can do sometimes, this is what people do during the connection sessions that we held in the past. People put their profile in the chat box and then ask if any and project ideas perhaps, and ask if any organizations in the same call would contact them if they want to work together to collaboratively develop a proposal. So I think that's Light Surgeons. You're welcome to do that on this chat. And yeah, there are several platforms to connect, and I hope you will have the time to to do a bit of a research to connect with Vietnamese partners. Great. Okay, the next question we have here. If we apply for 50,000, but you think that 30,000 is more realistic, would you award a lower amount than requested? This is a very interesting question, and I have to say that it had not happened with us before, in terms of offering a less grand amount, but when we select a project, we do go back to the applicant during this period of what we call conditional offer. We do go back to the applicants and work through the logics of the application, particularly the budget plan, to see if everything is realistic. We rarely say, we haven't ever done that before, saying, oh, cut this activity and cut that budget. That's not our role. Our role is to make sure that everything makes sense. And so there might be changes to your budget plan, because a budget plan is a budget plan and it will change again during implementation, if you know what I mean. So, but we try to work with you to make sure that your budget plan is the most realistic for your project implementation, particularly when there are costs that you might have not considered before that should be included, or there are costs that are not realistic, and we will point those things out during this conditional offer period. So yes, we will possibly come to the budget plan after we offer a conditional offer. But no, we have not, at least in my experience, try to reduce the grantee's budget if the budget is realistic and what is required to deliver the project. I hope that makes sense. The next question I have here, may I just reconfirm if you allow full economic costs, including estates, indirect, or only direct costs with no overheads? Can I ask? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to look for the person who asked this question. If you're there, can you please unmute and clarify the question a bit?
Hi, Tao. Thank you very much for clear presentation. It's my question actually. I just want to clarify, when we prepare for the costing plans, so do we need to include, like the direct cost and indirect cost as well, or only the direct cost, which involved in the project can be eligible?
Okay, only the cost that will be directly used for the project would be eligible, if that's what you mean by direct and indirect costs. And
yeah, that's what
those
I mean,
direct costs, just to give you an example, if you have a full-time staff, but about maybe a quarter, so 25% of this full-time staff would be on this project, and the rest of the time he or she will be working on different projects, or general admin or other work, then charge 25% of this cost onto the project. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you so much.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for your question. Okay, let's move on to the next question. How do you weigh the benefit of face-to-face network building against the environmental harm of international travel? I'm assuming that a lot of creative collabs can be online. I you assume right. So we do encourage face-to-face, but we do encourage digital or combination of face-to-face and digital in activities as well, with network building, with professional development, with showcasing. Some of you might know that we run the digital showcasing grants before, and that was very successful as well. So for this particular season, and particularly with the themes of climate and the environment, we're very conscious and we are very aware of the footprints and the impacts of international travel. So we do encourage project proposals to be very creative and to be mindful of the footprints that we have on international travel in doing such, international collaboration and particularly showcasing as well. So we're actually looking to seeing really great ideas from you on how we can minimize the impact, minimize the footprints and environmental impact, why doing the work that we want to do, celebrate the arts, culture and creativity. But we also, as a program, we also have involved monitoring and evaluation expertise, and also evaluator that look into the environmental impacts of doing such work. So we have our own kind of I hope quite dynamic framework to evaluate that as well. And we hope any project selected for season will join us in implementing or in adhering to a framework of evaluating our impacts. Okay, I think that's the last question that I have here on my list, and also that's the last question on the, sorry, that's not the last question on the chat. Sorry, please bear with me for a few seconds when I look through the question. Okay, there's one question, Chen Thị Hà. This question about proposing a project to develop techniques to analyze cultural heritage materials. I think you've sent this question to us before, and this question has been addressed on the frequently asked questions form, so please refer to that form. I might ask Nga to pop the frequently asked questions site again on the chat, so you can refer to that. The next question I have here: can we split the cost between the two universities, UK and Vietnam, or the fund need to go through only the accounts of the lead partner? If your project is successful and selected for grant funding, the contract will be signed with the lead partner and the funding will be transferred to the lead partner. I hope that's straightforward. Okay, the next question. For round one, you had a form to complete about one's company, so one could find a partner in Vietnam. Did I miss this for round two? Can this be shared if there is a list, or can a form be designed? I don't think that I believe that we don't have a form in round one. We have a letter of intent, which is a form as part of round one, and it is also it's not a form provided by us. It's a requirement for you to submit a letter of intent to collaborate between the UK partner, the UK lead partner, and the Vietnamese lead partner. And the round two is the same. You're required to submit a letter of intent to collaborate in this project between the two partners. I'm not sure what list can be or form can be designed. Is that okay? Can I ask you to unmute yourself and explain a little bit more? I'm not sure if I answer you right.
Yes, hi, it's Wendy. Wendy Arnold here.
Hi,
Yes,
Wendy.
no, hi. I think you answered it already in that there was you had a collaboration meeting, get to know you sort of meeting. Is there a link that we can go to look at all the partnerships and all the people that attended those meetings? I think it's basically that.
Okay, yeah, I think so. I thought so. So we organized 2 connection sessions. So those are sessions we invite people from both the UK and Vietnam to join. And some organizations presented themselves, but most organizations gave us a brief about themselves, and we send that to everyone. Now we have the consent of those organizations who signed up to those sessions to distribute the information within that group. So we did not, and we cannot publish the information because the consent that we have is only for sending the information to everyone who signed up to those 2 sessions. So I'm really sorry. That's all. That's the consent that we have.
Okay. I mean, I did go to one of those, but
Okay.
how do we find that information again?
If you join the session, then the information had been shared with you already. So please do look in your email, in your mailbox. Okay. So we sent the list of everyone in the session before the session took place and after. So it should be in your mailbox if you've signed up for it.
Okay, that's great.
Super.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Okay, the next question we have from Center 151. I see you selected 7 projects in round 1. How many projects do you expect to select roughly in round 2? Most of the projects selected in round 1 are between major institutions. Do you encourage artists to apply, or do you expect mostly well-established organizations to apply? There are 2 parts of this. There are 2 questions there. So the first one, how many projects do you expect to select roughly in round 2? We don't know. And we're very open. It very much depends on how many applications we receive, what are the maximum amounts that each application propose, and so we don't know it at this stage, but we do hope to have more than 7 projects for this round. As you might know, the round 1 of the season of the collaboration grants, it's across the arts and education and English programs. Round 2, we focus more on arts and creative industries, so definitely more than 7, but the number of successful projects we don't yet know. Do you encourage artists to apply? This collaboration grants are open for organizations, and this is part of the information that we also published on the call outs. Even the purpose and the ultimate objective is to benefit individual artists and practitioners, professionals. We encourage organizations to apply. We cannot accept application from individual artists. So if you're an artist and you work with different arts organizations, please do come to them and speak to them about the possibility of applying. We don't expect mostly well-established organizations. We work with a very diverse range of organizations. So sometimes it's an organization of 1 person, 2 people, small organizations. But if you can demonstrate in your application that you can plan an impactful project and deliver that project, you very much and there are capacity within the organization to deliver the project. You have a very good chance of being evaluated highly for the collaboration grants. So I hope that is clear. We have 2 minutes, so I might just have time to answer 1 or 2 more questions. Does a public-facing event project have to be in a major city? No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be in a major city. So just to give you we as part of season, of course, we are aware that most public-facing activities that take place in Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, some in Da Nang, some in Hue in Vietnam. But we expect to be very inclusive, and we hope to have more activities outside of the mega cities in Vietnam. So if you have ideas on for an event taking place outside of the big city, you're very welcome to develop your proposal. Right. 1 more minute, maybe I can go to another question, to the next question. Sorry, Michelle asked, will there be more connection sessions? Unfortunately, no. We have organized 2 open sessions, and I'm really sorry if you missed out on the connection sessions. But we don't have any more plans to organize any connection sessions. Also, there's only a few weeks, I think less than 3 weeks until the deadline. So it would be the time for you, if you're interested in applying, to really invest that time into developing your application. Okay. I'm afraid that we've run out of time. If it's okay for everyone, there's one hand just put up. If it's okay for everyone, we will take notes of the questions in the chat that we have not answered, and we will answer those questions, and we will publish all of those onto the frequently asked question. So hopefully we can do that later today. Can I go to the hand that just put up for the one last question of the session?
Hello, that's me. Thank you so much for a session, a very quick one. So I'm planning to have a hybrid session in which I'm going to have a landing page to talk about storytelling. So would you expect me to have, like, you know, a separate browser, separate domain, or can I do that within your British Council website? That's my question. Thank you.
You cannot do that within the British Council website. I'm sorry, unfortunately, we cannot. So the information published on our website is very restricted, you know, for the British Council. So grantees or grant-funded projects are not as part of that. We will publish about your project, information about your project, but I'm really sorry you cannot use the British Council website as platform for your communication channels or others.
Okay, that's totally fine. Oh, it's all right. Thank you. I thought it just be better for the media relation and stuff like that. But thanks a lot for your answer. Thank you.
Of course. If your project's selected, we will put you in touch with our communications team, who can support on different communication issues, including, you know, public communication to the public. So that's part of the support that we can provide for project as part of season. Great. Thank you so very much for joining the session. I hope that it's been useful for you, and we very much hope to receive your applications. And please don't forget, submit as early as you can. Please do not wait until the last minute to submit, because we've had incident of last minute submission and technical issue that the submittable team were not able to troubleshoot. So please don't wait until last minute. So all the best. Best of luck for your application, and I hope to see your application soon, before the deadline. Thank you very much for joining today. Take care and goodbye.